You're watching First Alert 7 News at 9 on the CW and live on YouTube with Lauren Munt and weather with Tom Tiefertiller.
I've seen tears. They walk out and typically what they say is God bless you and God bless what the Mission Center does for our community.
The Permian Basin is gearing up for Thanksgiving, and for a few nonprofits, that means providing that special meal for families in need. We talk about one of those organizations in just a few minutes. Thanks for joining us for First Alert 7 News at 9 on the CW, and thanks to those of you joining us live on our YouTube. I'm Lauren Munt, and in our top story tonight, a suspect is dead after a standoff in Midland earlier tonight. You may have seen or heard a massive police presence in the 5500 block of Newcastle Lane, again in Midland. We've got footage from that scene to show you now. Take a look. Earlier this evening, Midland police responded to reports of a wife shot by her husband. That woman was taken to a hospital, but the details of her condition are unknown at this time. Again, after a lengthy standoff, Midland reports that the man who had barricaded himself in the home for hours is dead. The Texas Rangers are now taking over the investigation. And a 93-year-old Midland man has died from his injuries after driving his truck off of a Loop 250 overpass on Friday. Midland police say the 93-year-old driver was Weldon Brogdon. Police believe that he suffered a medical emergency while driving on Loop 250. He drove off the bridge over Big Spring and crashed into another vehicle on the road below. Police say the driver of the vehicle was treated for minor injuries. And 2 people were injured in a multi-car, multi-structure crash. You're looking at pictures a viewer sent in. According to Odessa police, a Dodge Ram going north on Grant hit 4 other cars. Then it hit a metal fence and crashed into a building. One of the cars then hit a parked semi-trailer and a power line, which then caught on fire. 2 people, including the driver of the Dodge Ram, were taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. OPD's investigation into the cause of this huge crash is still going on. And we've got a scam alert for you now. U.S. Customs and Border Protection is warning of a phone scam that's targeting residents nationwide. They say that scammers are asking people to confirm certain details because Customs and Border Protection has intercepted a shipment of drugs with the target's name and address. If the target refuses to comply, the scammer threatens that the police will come for them. Again, this is a scam. Customs and Border Protection say that they will not ever ask for money over the phone. And right now, a boil water notice is in effect for Gardendale residents. This was issued yesterday, and it comes after there was an 18-inch break close to the pump station. Residents are reminded to boil their water for at least 2 minutes before drinking it, and officials are asking people to conserve water for a few days if possible while they get crews out for repairs. And the Bright Star Memorial on the UTBB campus is closing tomorrow. The university says the final construction and landscaping will get started. The memorial will be open over the Thanksgiving holiday, November 25th to December 1st, and then it'll close again temporarily from December 2nd to early January. Looking at some state news now, today the Texas Senate Subcommittee on Higher Education reviewed the role of faculty senates at public universities. Faculty senates are elected governing bodies made up of professors, and they represent their colleagues and work with university leadership on academic matters. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick directed the state Senate to examine these groups. Patrick also asked lawmakers to make recommendations to establish guidelines for what faculty senates' roles should be on campuses. We're going to take a pause now and talk your weather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Tom Tiefertiller. Tom, it's beautiful outside right now, just a little chilly, light jacket.
It is a great evening out there as we are looking at pretty quiet conditions across the area. Let's go ahead and take a look at the high temperatures for today. Again, ignore that Odessa reading. The sensor, I think, went out for a while, so we haven't had any reports today, but most areas were into the mid-70s this afternoon as it was very nice. Fort Stockton also having some issues as we did see temperatures again upper 70s to low 80s across many locations. We have cooled off a little bit into the upper 50s. A hint of chill out there across the area as we're looking at those readings again into the mid 60s to lower 60s. The winds are starting to come around to the south to southeast 5 to 10 miles an hour. And it looks like that is going to increase overnight tonight. So we're going to see more wind, about a 10-degree temperature flip-flop. So not as chilly first thing in the morning, lower 50s on the way. And then tomorrow, a little warmer before we see another cool front. We'll talk about what it's going to do to the forecast coming up here in a few minutes.
Thank you, Tom. Today is Veterans Day. It's a time to honor those who have served, but it also serves as a reminder for the sacrifices made by those in our armed forces. Today, we're hearing from local veterans and aspiring service members about what this day means to them and how we can all show our appreciation in meaningful ways. First Alert 7's Isabella Garriga reports.
Michael Midkiff, a U.S. Army veteran and history teacher at Trinity, felt a deep sense of patriotism early on. He was influenced by a grandfather who served in Korea, but he didn't grow up in a military family. That sense of duty grew strong after 9/11, and by 2003, he felt called to serve, completing 2 tours in Iraq.
Just kind of felt a sense of that's what I was being drawn to do for a while. Just kind of God put that in my path. It was very important for me to see just that bill that you know, most everyday Americans don't understand the bill that comes due to have that.
Justin Hoffman's journey to military service was inspired by a high school history teacher, Bill Coombs, who taught him the importance of service, sacrifice, and patriotism. A love of flying also played a role in leading Hoffman to the U.S. Air Force, where he now serves as a pilot. He reminds us that Veterans Day is a time to recognize that veterans come from all walks of life, often quietly, without uniforms or visible symbols of their service.
For the most part, again, you're probably not going to know, as you go through the store, you won't know who are veterans unless they're wearing something that shows that. But it is just being mindful, and then when you do see it, that's whenever you go and do thank them.
But Midkiff and Hoffman both stress that a thank you should go beyond just words.
Not just a thank you for your service, a quick little, second of your day, but spend a little more time, a little more thought. So thank you for your commitment, thank you for your sacrifice, for fighting for our freedoms, because they hear thank you for our service all the time, but it's just showing that you care, because they sacrifice a lot more of their lives than that 1 second that it takes for you to go and make their day.
The day was also a chance for students to explore what a life of service might look like and consider if it could be part of their own futures.
Give the kids an idea of what is possible for them if they choose to go that path, and what it means is really big. They can see the possibility of the life that they may choose.
For student Alice LaForelle, who comes from a family with a strong military background, including a grandfather who served as a Navy Seabee and 2 uncles who were in the Air Force as pilots, this day reinforced her own aspirations. Alice hopes to attend the Naval Academy to pursue a career as a pilot.
I think it'd be really cool to be a part of something bigger than myself and contribute to continuing keeping our freedom and everything. There's going to be rough patches, and just keep having the motivation and confidence to keep going and believe in yourself.
There were multiple celebrations to honor veterans today. The American Legion Post 430 served lunch to veterans, and our very own Jay Hendricks was a guest speaker. The American Legion advocates for service members on Capitol Hill and supports military families. They're also dedicated to ending veteran suicide. But the American Legion's doors are open to more than just those who've served in the military. Barbara Zimmerman has been surrounded by veterans all of her life. Her son was an Army Ranger that did 5 tours in Iraq.
Veterans Day meant a lot, everything to him, because his dad is a Navy veteran. His brothers are all Marine veterans. His grandfather and his uncles are all Navy veterans. So the military is in his blood.
The Post Day ceremony is to recognize all veterans, past and present and future, especially the one that's now serving abroad here around the world.
The American Legion offers youth and community programs, meetings, and scholarships to support the needs of veterans. And Fix West Texas is honoring veterans as well through holding a Veterans Day donation drive for the rest of the month. People can drop off donations at their clinic or at the adoption center in the Midland PetSmart. They're looking for people to donate socks, slippers, PJ pants, underwear, and ropes. Fix West Texas will also be offering free dog and cat adoptions for those who have served our country. Veterans will be able to get their pets spayed, neutered, vaccinated, and microchipped all for free. All you have to do is show your military ID. Fix West Texas is offering this special all month to honor servicemen and women. And ICA held a Veterans Day ceremony at the Cavalry Cross on Highway 191 this evening. Take a look. Those in attendance got to hear music and messages from multiple West Texas pastors and ate dinner together. That music was performed by Midlanders and Odessans. One of those singers says this was a celebration of Veterans Day and a gathering of people as one nation under God.
That the very fact that I can stand and talk in front of this camera and not worry about my safety, to me is Veterans Day to me. I mean, besides my freedom, but just any human being under America. I mean, I think that's what I think of on Veterans Day is.
For more stories about our military heroes, you can head to our website, firstalert7.com, and search Salute to Service. We're talking local sports now. It's been a tough end to the regular season for the Permian Panthers. After a 7-0 start to the year, they finished their last 3 games with losses, ending their season in 4th place for district. On Friday, Permian was close to getting a lead late into the 4th quarter before an interception by Midland's Blade Brandon sealed the deal for the Bulldogs. Jeff Ellison and his crew are looking to shake everything off as they prepare for playoffs, and they face the East Lake Falcons for the 2nd time this year.
Well, first, our takeaways were our kids are excited. It's one of our goals to get into the playoffs. As far as East Lake goes, yes, we're familiar with them. Played them, I think it was week 2, and they're a good football team. They threw it 40-plus times, I believe, and so we've gotten a lot better since week 2.
With Mojo making the playoffs, that means a tradition is back. Mojo legend and fan favorite Miss Elizabeth Fott is working on sewing the names on the back of the jerseys for the football team for their game against El Paso East Lake on Friday. It gives her great joy to put smiles on the faces of the players, and they make sure to acknowledge her for her hard work.
Oh, it means the world to me. And I don't know how much longer I can do it, but I love doing it. I receive lots of compliments and just speaking to me in the hall or smiling at me is wonderful.
Across town, the Odessa Broncos finished their regular season with a loss to the Legacy Rebels. As Big Red season comes to an end, head coach Herrick Hartman is thankful to his seniors and what they've been able to do in his first year at the helm of the program.
Good things positive out of it is our seniors that were here, there's 40 of them, and they worked their tail off and to try to make a difference. And it's tough for a new guy coming in and trying to put in a whole new system and in a short amount of time. But our kids worked hard and tried to improve and tried to do the best they could every week.
Coming up, the Permian Basin Mission Center is providing turkey dinners to those in need. Registration begins tomorrow. We'll have the details after the break. We're only a little over 2 weeks away from Thanksgiving. To help community members in need, the Permian Basin Mission Center will be handing out 400 turkey dinners on November 22nd. Registration for these turkey dinner boxes starts tomorrow, November 12th, and it ends on Thursday, November 14th. All you need with you to be registered is a valid ID card and a recent utility bill. On November 12th through the 14th, between the hours of 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. and 1 p.m. to 3 p.m., they'll be handing out tickets guaranteeing your family a box. Boxes include a turkey along with all the sides for a traditional Thanksgiving meal.
I'd say that box is about 2 foot by 1 foot and 2.5 foot deep. Anything you can think of that you'd enjoy for your Thanksgiving dinner, they will receive. Pumpkin, cans of corn, cans of peas, stuffing. We tried to develop a menu that a typical American family would enjoy for Thanksgiving.
The Mission Center has been giving out boxes since 1998, making this their 26th year. And they say that next year, they plan to expand even more and give out 500 boxes.
Well, a change is on the way as we're going to see a return of southerly winds, warmer temperatures for at least a day or so. We'll talk about changes with a cold front after that, up next.
Now, from the First Alert 7 Weather Center, here's Chief Meteorologist Tom Tiefertiller.
Well, we are looking at some changes coming up in the forecast. Southerly winds are going to return to the area overnight tonight, push temperatures back up a little bit. Now, here's a look at the upper levels, and we have this big ridge of high pressure kind of centered up across Texas, back into the plains. Storm systems are going to move up and over this. There's another trough that's going to move across, and that's going to push another front through. But the unfortunate thing is that when this moves across, it's not going to have any moisture to work with. So we're going to be looking at very dry conditions. All we see is this mid to high level moisture right off the Pacific in the form of some high clouds that are moving across portions of the Permian Basin into the South Plains and the Texas Panhandle and out towards portions of far west Texas. But overall, though, things are pretty quiet across the state at the present time. As we did see temperatures today warm up quite a bit. There were some 90s along the Rio Grande from Laredo down towards Brownsville. Warm as 82 in West Texas and Presidio this afternoon, but not too bad here or in Dallas and Lubbock and Amarillo as temperatures topped out into the low to mid 70s this afternoon. Now take a look at the futurecast winds. We are going to be looking at a southerly wind returning a little bit gusty as we move in towards the late morning, early afternoon hours. We're going to see that continue, so that's going to push temperatures up a few more degrees before we see more of a wind shift with that front moving in. It looks like late tomorrow night, early into Wednesday morning, that'll be coming through, and that's going to help cool off temperatures a little bit. So a little bit blustery to start off your Wednesday, and about a 10-degree temperature drop in our temperatures. So for the rest of tonight, with those southerly winds, we're going to warm back up a little bit with temperatures into the lower 50s out there. A high cloud or two not out of the question. And then for tomorrow, again, about 5 degrees or so warmer than today as temperatures will be pushed up into the upper 70s to low 80s out there. Rather warm in Fort Stockton with 87 degrees. In your first Alert 7 10-day forecast, here comes that front early Wednesday, dropping temperatures by about 10 degrees or so, all the way down into the upper 30s by Thursday morning. We'll finish off the week looking great. Playoff football on Friday looks A-OK, as does your weekend. Just watching for a front late on Sunday that could bring a shower or two to the forecast and a start of some cooler temperatures that will extend into next week. In fact, Wednesday, Thursday next week, we could be seeing some of the coolest stuff this fall season roll in to West Texas.
Up next here at 9, we've got some tips to travel on a budget this holiday season. It's coming up next. NerdWallet is reporting that the number of airline passengers has reached an all-time high, and that's not even counting the upcoming holiday travel season. The Sunday after Thanksgiving is usually the busiest airport day of the entire year. If you're one of those planning to travel this holiday season, Alexa Lorenzo has some tips that may make your trip a little less hectic.
Disney, she wasn't allowed to swim that far. Uh-oh.
Whether it's to visit grandma and grandpa or just to get away, millions of Americans are planning to fly this holiday season.
I'm traveling to Delaware for Thanksgiving.
I'm gonna go probably to New York.
NerdWallet says the day before Thanksgiving can be a madhouse, and the Sunday after Thanksgiving is the most crowded day of the year to fly. Meanwhile, the least traveled day is Thanksgiving Day and also the day after, Black Friday. If you're planning to travel on the holiday itself, one travel trick is to book the first flight out of the day to reduce your odds of a flight delay. And an extra perk, you may even make it to dinner on time. And even though the holidays are fast approaching, it's never too late to book your holiday getaway. You can check out Google Flights to find out the cheapest time to book. The Google Explorer map is a great way to check out the best prices to different destinations. For instance, in December, from New York to LA, you can get there for $128. And you can sign up for price tracking alerts here or on Hopper. And remember, after you book, keep looking for price drops. You probably won't get your cash back, but you could get a flight credit to use in the future. With ways to get you to your holiday dinner on time. I'm Alexa Lorenzo reporting.
Still ahead, we've got another look at your First Alert weather forecast coming up after this quick break.
Well, before we go, we want to check that forecast once again and show you that, well, changes are on the way. Now, tomorrow we'll see a little bit of a warm-up in our forecast due to south to southeasterly winds that'll be a little gusty, but it's all out ahead of a cool front that'll drop temperatures by 10 degrees coming up on Wednesday, so kind of up and down on the temperatures. Then we'll go back up a little bit for the rest of the week into the weekend, and looking at a dry forecast. Next stronger front looks to be late on Sunday, maybe a few showers with that late. And that'll drop temperatures for the start of next week. And then we get a surge of Canadian air in here middle part of next week. And I think that's going to bring us some of the coolest stuff we've seen so far this fall season, as highs will only be in the 50s.
It sounds like perfect November weather.
Yeah, I think it's
exactly
finally starting to turn around. But the one thing is for sure, I think we're going to see a pretty dry forecast until maybe next week with a few showers. But in the meantime, though, looking good for everything outdoors.
We're pretty used to the dry forecast, so I think that's okay.
Yes.
But as long as it's cooler, colder temperatures, I'm happy. Yeah. I was sick of the 110s.
We'll feel a little more seasonal.
Thanks. for joining us for First Alert 7 News at 9. We've got more news coming up tonight at 10.